Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such industry giant on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. R A Suresh. With nearly 3 decades in manufacturing professional electronics, particularly in areas like fabrication, purchase, planning, production control, and industrial engineering departments, he embodies a fusion of technical acumen and visionary leadership, seamlessly integrating innovation into every facet of his extensive career in manufacturing professional electronics. His expertise in automation, artificial intelligence, and the Internet of Things has not only optimized operations but also fostered an environment of forward thinking adaptability within his organization. He has spearheaded the effective digitalization of systems by implementing barcode systems, RFID technology, and paperless document management systems, enhancing operational efficiency. His adeptness extends to procurement management systems, optimizing processes, and transitions to a paperless office environment. Under his leadership, innovative systems such as automated labor time capturing systems, cloud based data management, IoT integration, and robot cleaning systems have been successfully introduced, streamlining operations and increasing productivity. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, Mr. Suresh.
Good morning, Mr. Sunny Pancholi, and good morning to all.
So, to begin with, our viewers would like to know about your career journey in brief.
Okay. First of all, I should thank World Development Corporation for providing me this opportunity to talk about my journey. I thank you very much for that. And of course, already you have briefed me about like 30 years of experience have carried in my journey, and I worked in various functions of fabrication, planning, procurement, and things like that. Of course, everybody will work, so there is a duty to complete their thing. But what I recall with my journey is the contributions have made apart from my work in terms of productivity improvements, innovations, and solving many problems through my problem solving capabilities. That brings me a lot of work satisfaction and the happiness. That gives me a lot of energy to go beyond. And that is my journey. And I do not want to go into the nitty-gritties of the functions. Anyway, most of us will be knowing the functions. Of course, I could talk about all those functions with the how do I went about solving various issues or the problems. That will be interesting. But of course, it's a what do you the technical or it will be too technical or too informative. If required, we can do that also. But I'm happy to share all this.
All right. So, continuing our conversation, Mr. Suresh, you have had some significant cost savings through exceptional negotiating skills. So, could you elaborate on a negotiating challenge you faced and how you overcame it?
Yeah, that is a quite interesting part of my journey. The negotiations becomes a larger sphere of activity when, in terms of personal or organizational or societal growth, the negotiation forms a very, very significant role in our success. See, in my journey in this area, I was able to save millions of rupees with my more than roughly about 1,500 negotiations I would have carried out in my journey of decade negotiations. Whether it's small or a bigger negotiation, I could contribute like that. And my success rate is phenomenally high during these negotiations. It's around 90% or more. And generally, there is a trend. People say that the negotiations are very tougher, and most of the time, the negotiations fail. But I could succeed in this phenomenally. One of the very interesting article which I read about 2 decades before my in my education system where I could do my MBA. There I come across on Harvard Business Review by James K. Sabinius. He has made a brilliant article on 6 habits of merely effective negotiators. This article talks about how do we uh, avoid some mistakes. Basically, it's about basically avoiding 6 mistakes for effective negotiations. That was a quite interesting article. I would just brief about that. Like the first mistake is about not understanding the other side's problem. We try to tend to focus on our problem or our price and try to negotiate, and we tend to ignore the other side's problem, which results in a deal or no deal. See, if you understand better, probably the deal can happen. Otherwise, there can be not be a deal. The second most important the negotiating that mistake will be uh, not letting the price bulldoze the other interest. Like I have a price in my mind, and I will tell this is my price, and you need to accept it. The other side, you will be forcing the other side to accept, and that kills the other interests of the organization. Actually, a person, managing partner of an investment banker known as Felix Dotin, has said a negotiation consists of 50% of emotions and 50% of economics. So if you just keep your mind on the price alone, the negotiation can fail. The third important thing is searching two common ground for succeeding the negotiation. So we try to search like what kind of interest you have, what kind of interest I have. Try to find out, we then finish the deal with that. Actually, we need to find the differences, what differences the other side is having, what problems they're having. That need to be found out. For example, there was negotiation between Israel and Egypt on drawing the boundary of their countries. So during this time, they are the oppositions went beyond to solve this issue and found a very important intention of or interest of these two countries. Like Israel was more concerned about security, whereas the Egypt was more concerned about sovereignty. So the solution was in demilitarized area or zone in the under the flagship of Egypt. It was a solution. So if you find the difference, probably solution can be arrived at. This is the third point. The fourth point is the BATNA, where BATNA is an acronym for Best Alternative Negotiated Agreement. Best Alternative Negotiated Agreement, which means if the deal is failing or when you walk away with a deal without any deal, then that means you have a better alternative. Not only you have the better alternative, even the other side has got a better alternative. As a negotiator, need to understand this particular BATNAs need to be understood, so that if you have more options, then I have a lesser bargaining power. So we need to understand that and to for a successful negotiation. The fifth point is like failing to correct skewed vision. We have a skewed vision. We will say that we have with our data, we will have a lesser vision of or lesser insight of about the problem. Whereas we tend to forget about the other side's issues by ignoring their data. Like we have less information, with that our own data can be wrong. And you can imagine the other side's data. We do not have other side data, and the insight, the biases, you can't remove it that easily. So we need to understand these particular mistakes. We need to understand this, and also another thing is the questions should. The sixth point is like questions should not drive the interest out. Like for example, there was a case where three company came out with a building a dam in an area where it will benefit the farmers and the habitants, environmentalists, or the so these farmers and the environmentalists oppose this particular idea of building a dam there. The farmers' intention was to that they have to get more water, and they have the environmental is wanted the habitants be protected. Whereas, so understanding the interest, the company came back with building a smaller dam with consistent water flow and protection of environmental habitats. So, but still, the farmers went against the company, saying that our position is not to allow this dam to come built. In the process, they have lost huge money on the table and walked away with the without any deal. So that position should not drive away your interest. So these 6 points of or six mistakes, if you avoid, you can be a successful negotiator and which bring laurels to you on your organization. And that's what I did it in my level, little capacity in my journey. And I would be very, very successful in that area.
That sounds incredible. So, building on to that, Mr. Suresh, you have spearheaded the introduction of automated labor time capturing systems, cloud based data management, IoT integration, and robot cleaning systems. So, could you state how you went about it and what were some outcomes thus achieved?
Yeah. In the labor time capturing system, there was a need for automating the labor time capturing, where it was done manually. And there was a threat of retirement of these employees employed in such capturing this data. So there was a in nearly entire labor will be retiring in those next few years, and it was a great threat, and we did not know how to manage that. So at that point of time, I have took up this particular case, automating the entire system with electronic media. And I took about a year's time to resolve this with applying various principles and develop the prototype model. And this module was tested and implemented. During this process, I was involving all the stakeholders, example like trade unions, employees, and our own staff, because this is when you bring a bigger change and automating the system. People, there is a threat. There is people think that okay, you'll be losing the what do you call employment, things like that. But it was not so, and we could communicate to them all these entire stakeholders and apprise about this benefits of the system, which was effectively implemented and developed, which nearly for a decade it would, without any issues it went on. That was a very big success story of that. In this process, actually, entire process of capturing the data, it was similar to like business process re-engineering, where it was done. With every single step, it was the work has been done, work was done and automated that. The second system was like we had developed this RFID system where the data was captured in a cloud and private cloud, of course, and it was maintained to throw the data on inventory in the pipeline. So that was bringing plenty of information from that. And on the robotic cleaning system was one of the interesting area. Now a lot of issues are coming up in this society in the accessibility to the cleaning systems and the sewage systems and many other complicated areas where human beings cannot enter even and clean that and things like that. And so in that process, to start with, I have developed, I have found out a couple of robotic systems where we could use it automatically in the office areas and store areas kind of things. It was implemented with a view that in the future it may benefit in many other areas of cleaning where safety hazard is there. That's a wonderful area. In fact, I find now many such equipments are coming up, which will reduce the human involvement and protect the against such any accidents and things like that. And that's a wonderful thing, no, to find out this particular robotic cleaning system was successful.
Okay. So, Mr. Suresh, now that we have discussed your career journey, your professional pursuits, roles, and responsibilities, let's dive into the subject of ESG. So, here is my question to you. Do you believe there is a great scope for ESG implementation in electronics manufacturing?
Undoubtedly, because see, today's world is of electronics. You touch anything, it will be electronics. Even mechanical equipment. For example, automobile was basically a sphere of mechanical engineering or automobile engineering area. But today, if you touch a car, most of the parts are connected with electronic systems. Whether it's your engine, even if you're checking of engine, also is connected with electronics and verification of various things are done. So electronics is in everywhere. So when you say electronics, it has got a lot of material inputs like raw materials, components, modules, and many other assemblies things are there. So there is a in the process of conversion from a raw material to a usable product, there are raw material usage, then there is a process for conversion, then a usage of the product and disposal of the product. So when you say talk about, for example, input, you will be dealing with batteries and their production, their usage, and their disposal. And in the process, you may be using chemicals or processes for treating them or conversion processes. And when you talk about the usable product and the outcomes of the usable product and the radiation which it may do, or even the disposal of that. Like for example, batteries used in a car or a two-wheeler, how is going to be disposed after your usage or regular one. So the entire product chain or the service chain involved in ESG requirements. So ESG governance becomes more and more important and evolving, and it will be an order of the day. So there is no exception for any industry, and especially in electronic industry, it becomes much more evident that it is a mandatory requirement to deal with. So today we are talking about extended product requirement, like product service requirement, extended liability. All these things are coming into the requirements of ESG. So it is definitely in electronic industry, it's a more important factor. Only the matter of time, how will be forced to force upon to every industry. Otherwise, it will be definitely requirement on that. So there is huge scope on the electronics industry. There is no doubt on that.
All right. So, as an ESG expert, what values do you bring to the table?
There are currently there are a lot of governance requirements will be there. Like it's not already governance are being done. Corporate governance is involved with many things, financial integrity and financial results because of various investor relations and things like that, and the societal relations. So the output of this ESG or the corporate governance is very, very essential to be built into the system of managing the whole company or the whole industry. So it is the output of that is very much required for protecting the environment and the people. So the governance needs more, corporate governance needs much more stringent system of monitoring and avoid any mistakes in that. So that requirement is to be met. So increasingly, the independent directors has to contribute on removing some biases or avoiding any mistakes or missing any important factors which will result in ESG effect on the people or the environment. So the monitoring of such governance is an essential part as a board. So it's a very important thing. So which as an independent director, definitely I'll be able to contribute. And especially in the tech, I am basically from a mechanical engineering background and of very much interested in technical technology side. So I'll be able to contribute in those areas very, very well and bringing out all the key factors and helping the organization to support this ESG practice and ESG investing. So that would be my value add as a company, as to the company by supporting, helping, and also ensuring the monitoring of ESG results to the society. That will be my value I'll be able to provide to them.
Amazing. So, Mr. Suresh, since you mentioned technology, our viewers would like to know the impact of technology on your professional landscape. So, here is my question to you: that as someone working closely with technology, what are some changes you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, digital twin, Web 3.0, cloud, etc.?
That's a very interesting question, actually. Whatever you mentioned, like whether AI or Web 3.0 or IoT or Industry 4.0 or 5.0, anything you talk about, it is going to handle a huge amount of data. The mind-boggling amount of data is going to handle that. Now, if that much of data handling is there, then the biggest threat to the such data is the data security. How do you secure this particular data, and how do you ensure that that data is not misused? For example, when I was doing my MBA in systems and marketing almost 24 years back, uh, people talked about this EDI, electronic data interchange, was a failure because you can't give access to the people for this EDI scheme where you can exchange data between two organizations. It was a failure. Why it was a failure was because we cannot know at what point of time what data is transferred from where to where. Now, 24 years back itself, if the data is failure and it was handling a very, very small quantity of data. Today, when you talk about big data, trillions, I do not know how we can go in trillions and trillions of data which will flow in the organization. And we will not be able to check or verify anything on these transactions. So the data security becomes a huge, huge responsibility of the organization as well as the society to ensure that there is no threat to the society. Otherwise, if within a single day, the whole data can be wiped out, or the whole accounts can be wiped out, and it can lead to enormous amount of issues with the people. So the data security becomes the biggest challenge in future because of the advent of this technology, and that becomes not only threat, but it's an advantage also to handle that. Like you can develop systems which will protect your rights. Example, your GDPR is your protecting your rights only. So data security rights need to be protected. So how do you protect this? That becomes a bigger challenge. So that will be an independent director's role on ensuring some systems and practices where this data can be secure. That is the only thing which I see as a challenge which is going to come up, and that will be interesting.
Mr. Suresh, thank you for sharing such amazing insights into different subjects. So this brings us to the last question of the session, and here it is. We are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the team of World Development Corporation?
Yeah, definitely the World Development Corporation is bringing out a beautiful idea of sharing this knowledge. I don't know whether every single input what we are giving, like today I talked about my side of story, and in this particular information, maybe 1 point or 1% of the my story may help somebody else pick up something and extend their ideas or extend their growth, and that will help. So the whole country or the society is looking for such inputs or trigger points where from where they can develop and grow. So when you bring out important leaders together in a single platform and exchange their ideas, probably what they are looking for may be available somewhere else. So in this process, definitely ideas are shared, and people can pick up the nice ideas and work on them. Not only that, when somebody has done something better, and it is easier to start with that, like we need not reinvent the whole wheel, and no, we can just pick up from there where they left it or develop on whatever they said. So that way, World Development Corporation is doing a wonderful job of sharing this knowledge, and I am extremely happy to be a part of World Development Corporation. And I do not know. I have no words to tell that how this is going to help others, and definitely it will help. It's extremely an important initiative and bringing the leaders together. So it's very nice to hear.
Great, Mr. Suresh. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you for joining us today, and we wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Thank you very much, Sunny, and thank you, World Development Corporation, for giving me this opportunity. I'm extremely happy and delighted to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.